Hey, good Arizona morning, my masters of survival. How are y'all doing today? We are looking fantastic out here in Arizona, but it's hot. Oh my gosh, it's hot. 100 degrees yesterday. Yeah, we're cooking now out here, man. That is one virus frying sunspot that we have coming out here in Arizona. Anyway, on the desert. I have a cool video for you today. I was contacted by some folks over at a company called EDIAG, I think the name of them is. And, you know, right away I'm like, I don't know anything about this kind of stuff. You guys need to talk to our boy Justin Dow over there on his channel, because he knows more about this kind of ODB II and determining these codes and that kind of thing. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I went out and looked at this thing and did a little bit of research on it. And I thought, you know what? Even if you don't know about it, this is the ODB scanner for the rest of us. The price on it is just freaking amazing. And I got a deal for you, so don't click off. Don't go anywhere, because I've got a cool deal for you. There's going to be links and information in the comments below if you just can't stand it and got to leave, darn you. Anyway, so the folks over at EDIAG sent this over to me. It is a model YA-201 as opposed to their model YA-101. And we'll talk about the difference here in just a second. But we want to unbox it and have a look at it. Look at this. It's a very simple box. So there's no foop here. There's just, you know, code reader and nothing else in the box. Code reader and nothing else in the box. No, there was. I've opened it before. There's some instructions in the box. It appears to be built very well. You've got nice stress reliefs here on both the ODB II code scanner reader, and boy, you got a nice thick Molex end here to plug into your diagnostic port. You got 4 buttons: up, down, OK, back. I'm guessing that is. And yeah, we've got a micro USB, mini USB, whatever, to hook up to it, so you can hook it up to your computer. Now, I think that this is rebranded because some of the stuff that I saw leads me back to King Bolin. So you guys out there that are into the scanners and stuff and know about it, you know that King Bolin makes really good scanners. So these guys have a Facebook page where you can get support for each other, specifics on your vehicle, lifetime updates for this, and that is going to be a second video because I was afraid to go out and get the update. Didn't want to crash the thing, but we're going to go ahead and risk it in a second video so that you don't have to crash yours. So why do I think this is good for the DIYer? Well, first of all, is price. And this thing here, as opposed to, let's talk about the model. This is the YA-201 as opposed to the 101. The 201 has a battery tester on it where the 101 doesn't. So that raises the price about $5. So this is, it could have been below $20, but it's going to be about $25. But if you guys use my affiliate link to go out to Amazon and buy this from the folks at EDIAG, you're not only going to get that $25 price, you're going to get less than that because I have a promo code for you to use to get 10% off. So $25, that's going to be $2.50. You're going to get it for $22.50. Okay? So that is going to make this a heck of a deal. Guys, you can't even get the cheapest one at Harbor Freight for that. And what are you going to get for that? Okay, so this thing is going to, you know, like most of them, read scan codes, reset scan codes. But what I like about this one is that it does have the battery tester for us guys that, you know, get tired of buying batteries. I bet you guys back east get more tired of it than we do out here in the west. So you can test your battery, but one of the cool parts about this tester is that it has graph on it. So you can graph over time how the battery is performing, and we're going to see that test in just a little bit here. The other thing I like about this is for you guys that are doing emissions pre-testing or whatever, it's already got mode 6 on there, which is everything they're going to look at an emissions control test. And it's got a very simple I am readiness function that just gives you green check marks or red X's for things that you got to test. And we'll look at that a little bit later as well. You can do live data testing, whether it's frame by frame or as a graph. Just a lot of reasons to like this thing. And you get all of that for 22.5 bucks with the code that I'm going to give you in the links and information in below. So let's go have a look at it. All right, everybody. Got a 2018 F-150 that shouldn't need anything, but let's go see how it works. Here's our ODB II connector. We're just going to plug this in right there. That's all there is to it. Okay, so we got our scanner all plugged in, and it came up without having to turn on a key or anything, so that may not be happen for you. You may have to at least turn the key to the accessory position or something like this. This has got the push button start on this truck, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but your EDIAG YA-201, when it comes up, first thing you're going to want to do is using your navigation keys. You have up and down navigation keys, and you have go back, okay, go forward, whatever. So you're going to want to go to your settings right there, say okay. Then it already comes in English, luckily, so but you're going to want to go to units and say okay, and then switch this from metric units to English and say okay, unless you want metric. If not, then you don't have to do anything. It's ready to go right out of the box. So we're going to back out of that, go back to this one, and we are going to look at the battery tester. It's kind of a graph. Hit OK. So this has got a graph. You can see that it's grafting pretty straight. Now watch when I hit the starter here. You can see it drop off there. And we could see the start there on the graph. And then once the alternator started charging the battery, we can see the voltage. It's going to tell you your charging system. This is the difference between the YA-101 versus this one, the YA-201. That's a pretty cool little deal here. Now let's go back to the main screen and go to our diagnostics. Say okay. This is what you're really going to be using right here. So when you first go into diagnostics, you get this information screen, and you have to go back one. Now that you're here, you can read your codes. So you click on OK, and we're going to look at pending codes. No, we want to look at stored codes. Let's say stored codes. Stored codes, there's no codes. Pending codes, there's no codes. And permanent codes, there are no codes. Why? Because this thing is new. So, will it catch a code? Let's find out. We'll be right back. All right, we're out here at the engine now. Hopefully you can hear me over the noise of this monster 5-liter. And what I'm going to do is pull the PVC valve here. Got a little clip right here. And yeah, right away it doesn't like that. Let's go into diagnostics, say okay. Now, let's go back. Remember, it gets you this info screen first. Let's we're going to go back, say read code, say OK. And let's see if it's in the stored codes. Codes are stored. This one. And there we go. There's a P22, what is that, 82? Air level between the throttle body and the intake valves. So that's what your PVC valve is going to throw if it's disconnected. Might throw the same code if it's bad or whatever. So let's go put it back the way it was and see if that fixes it. Let's go ahead and reconnect this PCV valve. Sure that little clip is set on there. Give it a little tug. Should be fine. Let's go in to Diagnostics. And it goes to the information screen. So let's go back one. Read codes. Erase codes. Say, well, you know what? Let's go and see if it's still there first. Yeah, P3282, it's still there. Back, and go back. Let's erase the code. Say OK. Do you want to erase code? Yeah, da, 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 da. We want to go ahead and clear the code. It wants the engine off and the key on. Now, for you guys that DIYers here who don't know how to do it with a push button truck like we have here, you know how you have to put the brake on to start the truck and push the button. Well, we're gonna just turn it on by pushing the button without the brake on, and that turns it on. That's like turning your key to the on position. Okay, now we're gonna say OK, and the DTCs have been cleared. That's trouble codes. And let's turn it off. It's off. Let's go ahead and start it up. Put on the brake. Okay. Go back to Diagnostics now. Start from there, say OK. Get the information screen, it reading everything. Let's go back. Read code, say OK. This is where we were at, say OK. No pending codes. Now, let's look at the next thing a DIYer is going to do. We got battery, we got read codes. So what else is a DIYer going to need an ODB II reader for? Well, go to Diagnostic here. And after information, you step back one time. What are your IM readiness? Okay. Oh, Lucy. So it's going to tell you about things, your O2 sensor, catalytic converter, evaporative system, exhaust gas recirculation, different sensors and valves. It's going to tell you how things are working. Give you an idea if you could pass a smog test. We probably are not going to pass a smog test. So, the other thing I like is that if you have an intermittent problem, you can go to your live data and say OK. You can record, say OK. So I'm going to say OK. Now I'm just going to pick something about the ECT. And you can pick 2 or 3 things here. What else should we put on here? Put the O2 sensor on here. Say OK. So there's the things that we're going to record on a graph. Now we need a memory slot because we can do 3 recordings. We haven't got anything on here yet, so we're going to say OK on memory 1. And now we're going to be recording this. You can see the frames counting off here while we're driving around. So if you got something like at a, say all of a sudden it just dies at a intersection, you know, when you stop for a light or somewhere thing like that, then you're going to have this clicking off frames for the data that you're monitoring so that you can get an idea. And that's it. Now, you can go back to your playback, say OK, go to slot 1, say OK. You can see we have data in there. Press OK to switch to we can step through the frames here. Which I think is very, very cool. Now it's got a mode 6. Guys that are more into car repair, the shade tree mechanic stuff, you're going to like this mode 6. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it does have mode 6 on it, which a lot of ODB II readers do not. They do not have the battery tester, and they do not have the graphing. Let's pick OK there. Let's just pick a couple of things here. Okay, back. And now we can graft these two things. You can see we have we have 1 of 2 in the top right corner. So we can use the up and down arrows to switch between the different graphs and things that we're reading here. It's measuring out in temperature over time. It's measuring out in percent over time. Not sure what's going on, what that is. You guys will know. So if you think you're having an electrical problem that is sporadic, you could put it on the graph here and you can watch it as you're going down the road live time. Just glance over at it and switch between different graphs and see what's going on. So those are the things that I really liked about it. Now let's go back into the shop and let's talk about some business on this EDIAG model YA-201. Because boy, have I got a deal for you. All right, well, we're back in the shop, and I hope you guys liked the testing. I thought it turned out very well. Let's give a final synopsis here. Likes and dislikes. The only thing I did not like about this was the limited English capability of the website and the support for it. The Facebook page does much better. It's free to join that group. I would definitely go out and do that. There'll be links to that below, as well as the website. But their support is really, really good. I remember when you know, a couple of things happened. I got the accidentally got the link and the discount code for the YA-101, and I wrote them back, and right away they emailed me back with the proper link and code so that we could get the 201, because you want the battery tester. So the support was good. The other thing I mentioned was, hey, you know, I went out to look at the website, and there was a link on the website that said it was to the owner's manual. And when you click on it, what you get is a zip file, archive file that seems to look like an update of the software on this, because when you plug this thing into your computer, it kind of looks like a jump drive, and there's a file structure on there. And I said, those, when you click on that, it looks like just a backup of that, or maybe the update or something. And they got back to me right away and said, yeah, that was a mistake on their website. And guess what? They fixed it just because I emailed them. So you could get to that owner's manual real easy now. So I really like that support, even though I didn't like the limited English language comprehension type thing that I got to feel was going on out there. Everything else, all the testing and the usability of it, loved it. So the best thing my very favorite thing about it is the price. And everybody that has tested this that I have seen, and all the checking I've done, says that it's the best scanner you can get for this kind of money. It beats all the competition in the class. So check out my links below. Don't forget to get your code and go get you one of these, because it is a heck of a deal. Now, if you liked my content, please like, subscribe, and share my videos. And don't forget to click that notification bell so that you guys know when I have new content out. We're going to be bringing up our content, but we got kind of a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to make an announcement about that. Now, finally, if you guys are coming up on your weekend, make it a good one, everybody, and take care.